They're all laughing, everyone, because they said something really inappropriate. Hello, welcome back to our After the Fire, Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones campaign. A tabletop campaign all about the intrigue and all that stuff of House Greenmont in the Reach on the Red Mountains, bordering Dawn. We are here with exactly the same cast we had before we went on our break, because unfortunately Dom... hang on, that was like I merged them together just then in word form. Tom and Don, unfortunately, aren't that well.
What?
They're not that well. Yeah. So unfortunately, not all six of us of the cast are here tonight. But we have, as Ash described before it all got very lewd, Ladies' Night here tonight. And we're back, yeah. And I'm very excited to see what happens after the just landmark session of a month ago, I think, ish. Except no in-character time has passed since now and then, and we'll find out how we all figure that in our heads as we play along. First things first, let's say we are obviously not sponsored but supported by the Roll20 Spotlight. We're using Roll20 for all of our virtual tabletop role-playing needs. I've got a pro account, and I have for a while now. I think it's a fantastic platform, so it's actually a genuine endorsement from me. I think it's a really good platform, so do check it out. You can do it for free, even as a GM. Okay, we can come to some Black Cats things afterwards as well, but let's go around and have a little chat with everybody, see how everyone's doing. Charlie is about to go on holiday. How are you doing, Charlie?
I'm good. I think this is my last stream before I take my break, although I am planning on trying to get Wild set up on my break. That's my one tiny work task, but mostly it's just an excuse for me to play more Wild. I'm really excited to be coming back to Westeros. We left it in a mess, and I was really sad last week when we kind of said goodbye to the Crownlands for now, and all those characters and all that stuff. And then today, Susie and I were looking for some stuff for something she's making, and we were going through all the clips of different games we've been in. And man, we've played a lot of games together. We've spent a lot of hours together, fam. And I'm super excited that we get to spend 3 hours together today.
Nice, good stuff. Anything at all you want to mention, or
if people want to come play TTRPG on Encounter, there are 3 or 4 casting calls up right now in our Discord. You gotta apply to be in it. Do not DM me. That will not get you in a show. Just apply. That's what the forms are there for. I'm not that organized, and I will forget you, even though I love you. That's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
I barely know what my name is most days, so
That's fair. Speaking of not knowing what your name is, I don't know what I had to go with on that segue. I'm sorry. Hi, Susie.
Hi, Sam. Wait, do I know what my name is?
I just like dumb segues. I'm sorry. Charlie started off a year ago.
My segues are not dumb, sir.
Oh. I mean, she peaked when she hit that orgy one. There's never going to be another segue as good as that one.
It's fine.
Pendragon stuff.
Okay.
Hashtag Pendragon stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I'm good. I'm hyped to get back into Westeros. My life has been in the Wild Westeros the past few weeks. That was real bad, wasn't it?
That was worse than my segue.
Fuck. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Wild RP recently. So it's been nice to do some dice rolly RP since most of my TTRPG shows are over for the season now. So gotta get my roleplay somewhere.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a lot of juicy fruits and intrigue to get on with tonight for sure. Speaking of lots of intrigue, Mara absolutely is coming from a place tonight. How are you doing, V? You ready?
I'm good. I'm very ready. I've spent weeks thinking about this. I always like it when Mara gets emotional. I never know what's going to happen. She takes on a life of her own. But it's kind of fun because most of my plans did, as I told Sam earlier, revolved around Samuel and Enzo, and sadly neither of them are here. So I have briefly reconsidered my plans.
Yeah, we've got some
until then
chatting to do with Papatali, probably.
Yeah.
Anything
I've
else you
got a
want to
lot
figure
of
out
charming
before
to
you?
do.
Yeah. Anything else you want to do before you figure out the next move, for sure.
You mean unleash hell? What?
Yeah, that mainly. Yeah.
But no, I'm happy we're back. I've missed this.
Cool. Thank you so much. And guesting for us again, my lovely wife. It's Ashley. Hi, baby.
Hey, baby. You okay?
You excited?
Yeah. Trying to remember how I played her last time.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be a bit wobbly. It'll be fine.
You'll be
We'll work
fine.
through it.
We've been plotting and scheming for an hour or so before we came onto the
Don't
call.
tell them.
Figuring out. Mostly just remembering what people's names are.
I mean,
There's a theme.
I have a book.
Yeah.
I'm writing notes.
Good.
Not gonna lie, I just messaged Susie. What was the name of that Lord dude? So yeah, names.
Well, as I said to Ash, I'm a big advocate for, even in the most like heated of roleplay moments, if you just need a fucking moment to say, hang on a minute, who is this guy? What's going on here? Can we just have a second? I need to figure this out. Or we go with Dr. Umbo's suggestion. Everyone now is just called Lord Dude. Maybe that would be easier. I don't know. With three M's, three ways to kind of say or spell Mirazia on screen. It's going to be an interesting night. But yeah, it's been interesting times for us at Black Cats Gaming. We've been working on the layout of the Spy game very recently. That's been very exciting. I've been reviewing that work with Wit, who's our layout graphic designer, and that's been very exciting to do. We're just finishing off that, getting in the last pieces of artwork, and getting all the little tweaks done so that we're ready to publish the PDF very shortly. So very, very excited about that. If you're excited about After the Fire coming back, we do have some merch. Sorry about the plug, but we've got some little t-shirts and stuff. You can get those somewhere. There's a link, and I'm sure Susie right now is typing it. There we go. Lovely. Very much. Is there anything I forgot, Susie?
I don't think so. I think that's basically everything covered. I think you nailed it.
I always have to check. Alrighty. Well, in that case, we will try and kick things off. Quite an improvised session tonight of what I am calling, as of about 10 minutes ago, the light of day. That was a thematic title, at least. Something in it. I literally said to Susie, I didn't have a title for this week. Oh. They usually come to me during the week, but no. I want to start off with Martzia. Because obviously we've got this span of time between the Godswood, and we obviously progressed things with Mara, and she arrived at the Tarly camp in the morning. But I want to know if you wanted to get up to anything that night, if you wanted to speak to anybody. There would be not necessarily a feast going on, but there would certainly be a meal where noble lords and ladies could be in attendance, and providing they were high enough status, you could certainly speak to anyone who would be there because of their status. I imagine you've afforded the Queen the luxury of staying in a decent bed in the keep rather than staying down in camp in the tourney grounds.
Yeah, I probably kicked the butlers out the castle and was like, sorry, we need this room, bye. Second son, get out of here.
Butlers.
No, that's not canon. Don't do that to me.
No, it's fine. I'm sure Lord Buckler's fine with you excusing
We'll downgrade
his party.
him a little bit, yeah.
For the Queen.
We'll be like the hotel manager. I'm really sorry, but we have a VIP and we need to move you.
We can upgrade you into a lovely tent.
So what I would like to do, I think Martzia, on the most part, all of today has been trying to find an excuse to leave things. She's been trying all day, but she can't because the Queen is here. It's her tournament, and a lot is going on. So I think right now she's trying to find an excuse to leave dinner, but she's probably trying to catch up with Jourdain, who she hasn't seen since the ball, really, when she spoke with him about a number of things that were going on, and he kind of helped out-ish with the Dornish when certain songs were played and people got upset.
Yeah, of course. You approach a couple of trestle tables down the hall that are filled to the brim with Dornish knights, nobility. Lord Jourdain is sat in amongst a couple of his kind of crowd, Jourdain courtiers, perhaps a knight or two, that got a little bit further than he did in the melee. And he is not looking that happy. As you head over to the trestle table, you notice that a courtier for the queen in Targaryen colours, dressed in a black and red doublet and hose, is whispering into lordlings' ears. And they're nodding politely, or they're speaking back briefly. And then the meal goes on as usual. These courtiers, from what you see at least, haven't approached Lord Jourdain, and they are a few seats away at least from him right now.
She'll make her excuse to stand up. I'm going to go and speak to someone, moving away from her current conversation, and she'll take the opportunity of the empty chairs to stand on that side of Lord Jourdain.
Mm-hmm.
May I, my lord?
My lady, it is your hall, please.
Did I catch you at a bad time? You seem most lost in thought.
He now starts to have a smile on his face. He says, "No, please. Did you come to speak to me specifically?"
Should I not have?
I do not know.
Are we not friends, Lord Jourdain?
I would be glad to consider myself one of your friends.
She takes a seat. I've not seen you since the night of the ball.
Yes, rather unfortunate, no?
What a merry dance it was.
Merry dance? Up to a point.
Quite. Have you made any considerations about the matter which we discussed?
It depends which matter. Your stepdaughter? Or I had the impression you were also considering.
Let's begin with my stepdaughter.
It is very much of a like, really. I do not necessarily want to insult you. I also do not want you necessarily to laugh at me or revoke the suggestion out of hand.
I promise to give you my full consideration and attention.
He leans forward so the courtiers don't hear as much, and they're in their own conversations, and the hall is still quite loud with gossip and laughter and drink. And looking into his cup, he says, "Sir Lewin Dane, the sword in the morning himself, he is not married yet, though his years are more than you might consider for your daughter."
And Miria's presence in the tournament would not be off-putting to him.
That I unfortunately cannot speak to. This is my best suggestion. I have made no impression on the man. I have also made no inroads into discussing the matter with him. It should be known. And we are two distant Dornish houses. We have not mixed so much, and I do not know them so well, I will be honest.
I understand. He is their champion, but not noble himself, is that correct? Or is he?
No, he is Dane
Close
born
relation.
and bred, the cousin, something to the current Lord Dane.
That is not so distant. I'm not sure of Miria's feelings on the matter. A lot has happened since this all began.
Forgive me, but you announced her betrothal to Sir Elry, and in almost the same night asking me about a different suggestion.
Well, if you'll pardon me, an announcement is done to gather a response, is it not? It's a public performance.
But there is serious intent behind such a thing. For you to go back on this betrothal, it would damage your reputation, your possible alliance with Lord Peake himself, perhaps even damage your reputation amongst the other Reacher lords.
I think my reputation is in such high regard with them to begin with.
Well, I must admit
I
I'm
am
not
aware
concerned
of the
myself.
implications, but I was curious as to whether the Dornish, in their displeasure, would have a better offer.
Interesting.
An offer is not a commitment. Just as a betrothal is not a marriage.
No, but as I say, it carries some serious intent.
As does the hosting of a southern tournament.
A southern tournament to invite all of the southern kingdoms too, not just of the 6 kingdoms.
Quite.
This is why I admire you, my lady.
Now you flatter me.
Oh, no, do not confuse things. I am happily married, thank you.
She takes a sip from her wine and muses on how short-lived marriages are. But not allowed. Well, I hope your spirit shall improve. We only have a few days left here. Between the end of the tournament and everyone packing up to leave.
Indeed. I shall miss it. So many martial people, noble people in such a place. It is
All
not...
just about managing not to kill each other.
You put it better than I was going to.
I'm afraid I have not had a lot of sleep. It keeps me rather direct.
I think this could work for your benefit.
And now the Queen has arrived.
Indeed.
Are you familiar with her, Grace?
Not as much as you might imagine. She was very betrothed to His Grace at a very early age. I believe she left on even before she could take the seat of Sunspear.
She seems a wise and shrewd woman.
Unfortunately, as I said, I would not know.
Would you care for an introduction, my lord?
It would intrigue me, yes.
I think you would amuse her. And isn't this all about fun? And she kind of gestures.
Who's fun?
Well, not mine yet, but hopefully it will improve.
Very well.
I still have hope. We will find peace, my lord. Somehow. Susanna Grace, stop.
Is there any actions you actually want to do with Jordan at all? You know, just with the exchange, I'm happy to give you a roll for something.
Yeah, essentially this is just I guess it's almost like a charm. She just wants to maintain disposition with him, essentially, to
Sure.
mechanically
Sure. I'll give you a
charm it.
short-term charm. Roll the
Yeah.
dice for me.
Not Marcia's strong point, instantly.
That's
But
fine.
let's do this thing.
Where is he? There he
Oh
is.
no, that's
You
peak
do got
Crusaders.
a D.
Oh,
You do got
I
a
need to save
dice.
that D.
I'm just letting you know you got a
Thank
D.
you. I mean, thanks for announcing that, but thanks. 14, Sam.
Okay. I'm not going to say either way, but he is as pleasant and charismatic as I try to portray. You know, bit of a joker, not one to kind of, mince his words in that way. And do you take him up to see the Queen? Who is probably
Yeah.
sat in your position.
Yeah, she wants to go and speak to the Queen
dais.
anyway, and it's a convenient segue almost.
Okay, cool. All right, you want to make the introductions? He kind of straightens himself out,
Your Majesty, might I intrude for a moment?
She kind of waves away the person who was talking to her, and then gestures for you to come forward.
Your Majesty, if I might, I'd like to introduce you to a new friend I have made at this tournament.
Of course.
This is my Lord Jourdain.
Now I really want to try and get his full thing, his full title. Do that.
Can I do a test?
You can. What for?
Who is he?
Oh.
What is he known for?
Okay. Automatically, you'll know. House Jourdain is a Dornish house that is on the northern coast of the kingdom. So it's between the North Dornish coast and then Storm's End, kind of between those two, pretty much. Their seat is the Tor, so they are on the they're on the mouth of a great Dornish river on the coast.
Is he a friend of anyone who may be supporting her in Dawn?
You don't know the Jourdains to be particularly strong allies, I would say, of House Martell. But they are one of the principal noble houses.
Okay.
They're one of the more influential. He steps forward in a surcoat of light and dark green checks, and he has a golden quill embroidered onto the front. I'm trying to remember his injury now, Susie. I think he limps forward, or he...
Yeah, stabbed him in the thigh.
Nice, okay. He kind of... You can tell there's a slight kind of limp as he walks forward there, as he's trying not to step on one leg too harshly. But he steps forward and takes a low bow in the Dornish style. And he says... Your Grace, Lord Stefan Jourdain, of House Jourdain of the Tor.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure, Your Grace, is all mine. Alas, I'm afraid that I did not get to meet you before you left for the Red Keep.
Yes, there were many people I were unable to meet. It is a shame, indeed. But the gods have graced us with your presence now, so please sit, join me. Let us have a drink. Marzia, you too.
He dashes a glance at Marzia, like, what?
Thank you. Marzia will take a seat.
He will take whatever seat is indicated.
And you'll notice that she's brought her own glass. She's refused to she's bought her own cutlery, her own plates. She's refused to touch anything that has been provided, and it might be for kind of safety reasons, because obviously she is under her control, or others you don't really know. And she kind of snaps her fingers, and her attendant will pour each of you a glass.
Nice. He pours a sweet summerberry wine that's fresh from the vineyards. Thank you, Your Grace.
Your Grace, the Lord Jourdain has been in a sulk. I thought if anyone could improve his mood, it would be you.
Am I a babysitter now?
No, Your Grace. You are definitely the most interesting person here.
I thought only little boys got into a sulk.
Unfortunately, not, Your Grace. Something that has stayed with me since childhood. Please do not worry yourself with my poor loss in the melee the other day.
Did you stand back up?
Once I had yielded, yes.
Then you have another chance to win.
Alas, not according to the rules of this grand melee.
Yes, but there will be a next, and a next, and a next. You fall down 7 times and stand up an 8th.
I would hope so.
Not with that attitude.
Tell me, Your
Sure.
Grace, was the journey long, arduous? How did you find the Red Mountains?
Bumpy, I must say. But it was good to get away. I do find this place quite amusing.
These mountains amuse you, Your Grace?
No, the people. It's good to see fresh, new, young talent.
I couldn't agree more. I think the whole realm needs some new talent.
Maybe not in the way that you think.
In what way would that be, Your Grace?
Maybe it's why you're sulking.
I'm afraid I do not follow.
Drink more. Then maybe you might.
Yes, Your Grace.
She'll turn to Marzia and just kind of look her deadpan in the eye. Have I amused him enough?
I think so, Your Grace. You've certainly amused me.
I'm sure. I am a clown for all, apparently.
Hardly, Your Grace. And I would never hear of that.
She'll flash Jourdain a smile.
He doesn't like smile back. He looks at you, and there's kind of a wrinkle at the side of his mouth, but then he keeps drinking the summer wine.
Maybe my teasing was too much.
It is the royal prerogative. No teasing is never enough.
Ah. Then I'll make note to tease you more the next time we meet. Be prepared.
And I will thank you, Your Grace. And I will get up in its time.
The Dornish way always does.
We were discussing my daughter, Your Grace.
Oh, really?
And the Lord Jourdain's response to her presence in the melee.
And what is your response? I'm curious.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by my drink. What was that?
We were discussing Miria and what you thought of her presence in the melee. That's your prompt.
Well, I cannot lie, it came as a somewhat of a surprise that she was the person to make me yield, but she is an excellent fighter.
You can't be too upset. You come from Dawn.
No, of course, I do not mean anything by it. It was, as I say, a surprise.
Well, the Dornish side will show through.
Thank you for your confidence, my lady. Perhaps you might not share that with a lot of the crowd here, though.
Something bothering you, my lord.
Oh, no.
I'm sure the Queen won't mind your candor. And she'll glance for kind of permission from Her Grace to continue this conversation.
She'll give like a slight nod. She's starting to look a little bit bored.
Fair.
But yeah, she'll nod.
Just the mix of people here. You know as well as I do, it is old ground to tread.
Well, a bridge must first have foundations.
Just hope this Tony creates those foundations. Lays them in stone.
My lord, I did notice your leg seems to be causing you some discomfort. Perhaps I might tend to it.
By all means.
And she'll give him a direction in the castle for where the healing room is.
Okay. He'll finish off the summerberry wine in the cup, and we'll head on out of the hall.
Your Grace, I hope we might discuss my daughter further.
Of course. If that is what you desire.
I would, and privately, if I might be so bold.
Why don't we let proceedings die down first? Come to my chamber later.
Yes, Your Grace. Would you like my daughter to be in attendance or just myself?
That is up to you. It is your daughter we are discussing.
Thank you, Your Grace. And thank you for the wine. It is delicious.
I know. I must get more. Now off you go. You've got a lot of work to do.
Yes, Your Grace. I do. She'll stand and curtsy
and then she'll kind of wave you off.
And Marcia will go.
As in, like, off you go play.
Yep. Go. Done with you.
Alright. I want to check in with Miria. I want to know what she's up to this evening in amongst the food.
Well, we left with the big reveal, right? So I think she is I think she's trying to gauge the temperature of the room as she's like maybe doing the rounds, you know? See if people like big angry with it or if they're like, hey, cool fight.
Okay. Make me an awareness, and I would say you can add any streetwise bonus dice that you have, if any. No?
No. Awareness, just awareness streetwise then.
Yeah, I reckon. This is gonna be before you, because you got a couple of you got bonus dice and a dice in your frame. Let me just check again the normal difficulties for collecting this kind of stuff. So if it's spending just an hour doing it, it's difficulty 18. If it's spending 4 hours, it's difficulty 15.
I got none of those. I got a 10.
Ah, we rolled already. Okay.
Yeah, I hit the button already. I think she's probably, because she got bashed up in that fight, so she's maybe not super attentive.
That's fine.
And she's got a lot on her mind after the whole queen thing.
I'm gonna tell you anyway, because my little house rule is always I'm gonna tell you rumors. They might not be true. If you fail, that the more devout, the more pious to the seven people are, the worse of an impression they have of you. You know, chivalry as it's known in the Reach particularly, and as it evolved, I think, from the incorporation of the Andals coming over, and the adoption of the Faith of the Seven. It's very male dominated, and chivalry essentially became religious. Not only a position of kind of guardianship and authority, but it actually became divine. And the warrior is a male god. And so it is men as knights that are forged in his image, essentially. That is the kind of chatter that you get.
I bet I'm getting real bad stink eye from Auntie Dane if she's here.
If you look over, you're getting some stink eye, for sure.
Good. Miria gives her, meets her eyes and is like, huh. But I think...
But yeah, I think just in the way that maybe she's not so attentive, she's a bit distracted by that kind of thing. The negative stuff is what hits her first. And that's what she gets. That's maybe what she plays a few times in her head.
Yeah. Sucks. I think Miria mostly would have been sort of basically just doing the rounds, as I said, but then she sees Jourdain and Marcia walking off. She's gonna whoop and go after them.
Okay.
Where's Ellery, by the way? And how chill is he right now? Is he chill or is he mad?
Can I have a little chat with Ellery? Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, let's have a chat with Ellery. I haven't talked to my fantasy betrothed in a long time.
Sure thing. He is tucking into his stew and potatoes.
And Miria awkwardly sits down next to him with a So how's the stew?
It's kind of he's surrounded. Let's before we kick that off. Let's say he's he's at a trestle table, surrounded by knights. This is a he's on the periphery. He is not the center of attention, obviously, and he's just he's quite content, just eating and listening and kind of laughing along with some jokes and stuff. There are only men at this table, and it's got that kind of machismo, macho kind of energy about it for sure.
Okay, all right then. If that's the vibe, oh god, here we go. Miria comes in, and she sort of sees the blokes all being blokes.
Yeah.
And she sees Ellery. Excuse me, good sirs, if I borrow Ellery 1 moment.
And they all kind of have a bit of a cheer, and they kind of raise their flagons to him, and he's just like, yeah, okay. What?
I just came to see how you were.
Oh, I'm fine.
It's almost like we're betrothed or something.
Yeah. How are you doing since the revelation?
Well, I'm very sore, and I'm pretty sure at least half of the people here hate me.
I wouldn't pay too much attention to that.
No, I'm not going to.
You have some you have a birthright to be fighting in the melee. Really?
I do.
If Lady Marcia and her intent behind the tournament is to say anything, it's that you can fight amongst any of this lot. And I thought you were incredible.
She smiles, like there's like a genuine little blush across her cheeks. She's like, it's the nicest thing he's ever said. I think she genuinely does look away, like all like, ooh.
Okay.
Thank you, Ellery. That means a lot to me.
So you're in for the final.
I am. Yourself?
They've yet to play out the last match until then. I'm drawn a lot in that, so
do you know
we'll
who you're
find
fighting?
out on the morrow. The Sword in the Morning has been allotted the fight to.
Oof.
There are fewer of us now. 5 apiece, I think. I confess I don't know which side he is being drawn on.
Well, let's hope that he's not against you. He's a formidable fighter.
Let's
He
hope.
was there in my first bout, giving his orders on the field.
I imagine you did well out of that.
Yes, quite. Found myself fighting the Lord Jordain, I believe.
Did you give him that injury? His leg?
I did. I didn't mean to hurt him.
Come and have a drink with us.
All right.
And he takes you back to the table and kind of starts by saying you're the person who gave Jordain his leg injury.
Mm-hmm.
And was you, obviously, as the mystery knight that took him out, got him to yield and everything. And a flagon of beer is, brought up for you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling stories, raucous stories about fights or scuffles. A couple of them not in great taste, about kind of going to a village and just kind of demanding stuff because there are arsehole knights in Westeros. And there was a lot more of, even historically, that kind of bravado than actually kind of good chivalry, kind of we're going to do the right thing kind of stuff. But they're all finding like good humor in it. And yeah, essentially you can enjoy a drink.
Yeah, Mariella can carouse. I think she's telling stories of when she was training and, all sorts of, just like funny lad stories, like, I don't know, whatever it is.
What do you reveal, if anything, about your experience of training and House Ironwood, anything like that? Anything of your past?
It depends on how many drinks she's had. Let's roll.
Right. Hang on, what? Right. Alcohol's a poison.
It is.
I want you to roll. Where is this in the thing?
It's resilience, right? Endurance, resilience.
Also, interestingly, I like that it makes an attack against you. Is how
good.
It's how it's done.
Wine
So-
attacks 3 times, remember.
Oh, luckily for her, she's having a beer. Toxicity is 2, so that's a couple of attacks, like you said, for sure. Oh no, sorry, once per hour is the frequency. And so it's 2 dice. What's your endurance rank?
3.
So your passive is 12.
Mm-hmm.
Where it runs its course. Virulence is the attack dice. Okay. Let's give this some. Let's give it 3 dice. I don't think you're. Well, it depends. Are you kind of going for this in terms of
I
keeping
don't think
up,
she's
or are
getting.
you...
She's not getting white girl wasted, but she's definitely trying to keep up with the lads a bit. You know, like she feels like she has to like keep this place she's got here, right? Like the lads have got her around the table, so she needs to be like.
Oh,
drink.
so a 12 matches your endurance, which does mean that first one is a success. It imposes -1d on all tests.
Oof. Fuck. All right.
But you gain +3 bonus to all endurance and will tests.
Oh! Getting drunk is fucking great. Okay, so I think as she is, she's getting there, right? She's getting a little bit tipsy, and I think she accidentally slipped. Someone will ask her, like, "Where did you learn?" And I think she says, "Oh, I was taught by Sir Francis II Ironwood."
So Francis at Ironwood, and one of them's like, "Yeah, of course she fights with a spear. Don't be an idiot. It's Dornish tactics." And then there's someone at the table who looks more like they're more of like a hedge knight or a traveling hunter or trapper. And they have the kind of garb and appearance of someone who would go out in the Red Mountains, who would maybe travel some of the scrubland just south of it. And it's them that introduces. The Ironwood Knights were the Blood Royals. Order of the Blood Royals. The same order that disbanded a few years ago.
Disbanded is a word for it, yeah.
So Francis get caught up in that.
Well, from what I remember, yes.
That's a real shame.
It was. Travesty.
They were good knights. Stoic defenders of the Boneway. It's like the whole atmosphere's just changed. This like somber moment. Everyone's kind of shut up and is listening or just drinking. So, but my lady, you must have been younger. Young, in fact.
I was. It was many years ago now.
And Ellery actually pipes up, I think. He says, like, "Can we stop? Can we move on?" Kind of thing. And the kind of hedge knight just kind of looks at you, kind of expectantly.
She looks at him. You seem to know a lot about these knights, so.
Just knew them as all.
In what way? What manner?
All the Blood Royal is renowned in the region. I've travelled the Ironwood River, more than a few. Just making conversation.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that they were good men. Still good men.
What is your passive awareness?
Passive awareness is 16.
definitely like something he's not saying.
Mm-hmm.
He's held himself back, and he's kind of stop now.
But I think Miria Gage is like, people are getting a little bit shifty, right? And it's just Miria and this guy talking about them. So she sort of laughs and says, anyway, sorry to derail the conversation there, gentlemen. Please carry on. I'm just going to get some air. And then she stands up and like gives the guy a look and like...
Okay. Yeah, and off she goes. All right. Okay, well, no, I want you to roll for me. Like, this is like, is this a kind of innuendo, like, come... We'll have a chat
it's
later
like,
kind of thing. Right,
yeah.
Roll for me deception convince.
Okay, hang on.
Because this is like secret signal, like, come on. Kind of thing.
All right. Where's my deception stuff? It's been a while. I'm sorry, friends.
No worries, no worries.
Custom roll. It's going to be...
Because you can always use your persuasion specialty dice in deception if you haven't got any deception dice.
Yeah.
Specialty dice.
Persuasion, deception, convince, rolling 4, dropping 1, adding half persuasion rank, which is 2, and then cunning rank, which is 4.
Oh yeah, you're treacherous.
6. Yeah, super treacherous.
All these
19.
Jeez, that's all right. And a +6 on the result too is gnarly.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. He notices you do that for sure, but he doesn't get up.
Yeah. Don't go straight away. That's super obvious. Like.
Okay. So where are you heading?
Miriam will be heading after Jordan and Martia because she needs to talk to Martia.
Okay. Sorry, V, bear with us. I'm going to do a bit more of this. So we're going to catch up with Martia and Jordan. Where do we find them? And is this like, are we starting an intrigue? Because then we'll arrange some environment qualities and stuff.
So as I get my drink delivery, sorry about that.
You're all right.
I've just been provided with energy drinks and milkshakes. Very exciting.
Good. It's a good combo.
Yeah, maybe not simultaneously. But I think they have legitimately gone to the new healing ward because we got the upgraded castle now.
Nice.
And Matsuya is genuinely going to take a look at his leg because while she I imagine she arranged for reasonable healers for the tournament because that's Matsuya.
Absolutely.
She still doesn't necessarily trust that it's been fully treated, and she's going to check it out herself.
Sure thing. Let's just have a look at the...
With no actual ulterior motive beyond the fact he was limping, and she wants to just make sure this lord isn't going to die of an infection that he got here.
Sure, no problem.
Because leg injuries are not great in her history.
So, no ulterior motive. This is just healing check, yeah? Okay. Cool.
Yeah. You want diagnosed injury? Although I guess it's pretty
nah,
obvious,
he's
right?
got a stab
Absent
wound to his
leg.
thigh.
Alright, so I won't get the bonus dice for a successful diagnose, so I'll just roll treat injury.
So you're looking for a treat injury. I think this is travel, some physical activity. Looking for a 9, but I know you can hit that.
We hope. 16, yes I can.
Yeah, absolutely fine. So because an injury you can deal with once a day rather than once a week, you have healed his injury. You take a look at the stitching. Pull away some of the maggots that have been put in there to eat away at some of the possibly infected wound. It's nice and clean, so you give it a packing bandage.
Fresh poultice.
Yeah, fresh poultice. A bit of boiled red wine to wipe away some of the infection. And clean it all up nicely and wrap it up like a little present. And he is very grateful as he
should be
takes it off his sheet. Lovely.
Will probably hurt for another day or so if you pull the stitches. Resist the urge to scratch it should it start itching.
I will not pull the stitches then, yes.
Good. Oh well, I'm glad that is tended to. You can get dressed now.
My lady, is it true what I hear about Lady Meria's parentage?
Sorry. What is it that you hear?
Well, I have only heard that.
Her mother died at birth.
Yes, of course. It is not her mother I am concerned with necessarily, but rumor has it that the Lord Greenmont might not be her father.
Why would that be a rumor?
The reason she was at Ironwood years ago.
She was at Ironwood because myself and Oliver felt it would be a safe place for her until we had chance to speak with His Grace.
And was that Sir Oliver's choice or yours?
It was agreed upon. Lies.
Did not answer my question.
Sir Oliver made the decision. He was the one that found her. Others had been incapable of such a thing.
He's a very capable man from all I hear.
Why do you bring this rumor to me?
To seek the truth of it. Rumors are difficult things.
Particularly when everyone involved is dead.
I saw Miria not long ago at the hall. She is very much alive.
As far as Meria is concerned, Sir Oliver is her god's father, and that is exactly what he was.
As you say, my lady. This is going to be a little retarget on your passive deception.
Okie dokie. My passive deception is 8.
Okay. So you say as you say, and he pauses there. At which point, Miria walks in.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah. Whoop. She's completely obviously oblivious.
Mm.
Oh, my apologies, my Lord Jordan.
It's
I
okay.
hope Lady Matzo has attended to your leg.
Very well. I shall recommend her to all my friends.
I'm sorry I wounded you. I didn't intend to.
It was part of the tourney. I do not hold a grudge. Don't worry.
All right. Well, I'm glad to see you healing.
Were you injured, Miria?
No, only a bit battered and bruised, but I'll be all right.
Sit.
And she opens her mouth to argue, but she got the mum sit, so she's like, she sits down.
So Jordan gets up and is like, I will leave you to your conversation. And starts to walk out.
Remember, don't play with the stitches.
I gave you my word.
And a Dornishman is always true to his word.
Is it true? It is none.
At least they try.
Fuck you, Sam. I heard that.
Alright, he walks out.
Yeah, Miri smiles at him. She's oblivious.
Lady Miria.
Yes, Lady Matzo.
The tournament.
Yes,
Quite a spectacle you made.
I did. That was never in my intention.
I think it was exactly your intention.
It was not my intention.
You wanted to show off your spear.
I did, but I wanted to do it subtly, not be revealed by the queen in front of everyone. I intended to fight, collect my winnings, and leave quietly.
Do you require money for some purpose, Miria?
No,
And if someone had hurt you,
Well, then it would have been a problem.
if someone had knocked your helmet off,
Would have been a problem.
if you'd have seriously hurt someone,
I never would have.
you do not know that. You fight with a spear. That is a weapon. A weapon is designed for a specific purpose, to do damage, inflict harm, often to kill.
Yes, I know that.
It isn't a game, Maria.
I never said it was a game.
Well, then you cannot tell me that you would never seriously harm someone when you engage
I
in
didn't
such
say
activity.
I would never seriously harm someone. I meant in this tournament.
You cannot say that. She's going to poke you in a bruise.
That was uncalled for.
It's easy to slip.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been much worse. I imagine she's maybe checking your shoulder or somewhere like that where you got kind of tapped.
Yeah, like she got real tagged in like her ribs, her shoulders.
Yeah.
I just think when you said like slip, it was more like you moved up to like an artery or something. Just you poked and then you kind of pointed at somewhere a lot more vital.
Mm-hmm.
The armpit, perchance.
The famous
We've got to
armpit.
stop with that.
Are you angry with me?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I know. You did well, though.
I did. I'm through to the final round.
They would have been proud.
Yeah.
And they probably would have given you more of a talking to than I can.
I don't think so.
No, you're right. Sir Oliver would have said nothing. Except
no.
maybe given you notes on your form.
I was about to say. Giving me tips on my combatants.
Maria, what you said to the Queen, what did you mean by it?
I didn't intend on having this conversation with half my dress off, but...
Well, you had it with half your armor off in front of half of the Southern Reach.
It wasn't in front of half the reach, it was just between us.
In
Said it
the
quietly.
box at the tournament.
Said it quietly. But I had something confirmed to me that I had thought for a long time.
And what is that?
And I think Miri's kind of been looking off and like futzing with stuff, but she like stops and looks Marcia dead in the eyes. I'm Oliver's daughter.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
And what end do you seek with such a claim?
I want to finish what we'd started. Back there at Ironwood.
I've made my promise to you that we will fulfill our promise to Oliver. But do you not see the disadvantage of being a bastard?
Oh, I know full well the disadvantage of being looked down upon by those that think themselves better of you, purely by the circumstance of your birth. But I know that name carries a different weight in Dawn and means very different things to a lot of people in that country.
That kingdom is part of the 7 kingdoms, Maria.
Still hasn't changed how things are there.
And you would rather be there.
It's felt more like my home than anywhere else.
Well, I'm sorry to have kept you here then.
I didn't mean it that way, Lady Marcia.
Marcia goes to a wash basin to rinse off some bandages or cloth or something like that.
Ever since I've been a small girl, I felt foreign alien in this hall. Like I never really belonged here. The only people who ever really showed me true love weren't Greenmonts.
But they were here, Miria.
They were. But they shouldn't have been.
Your sister's dead, Miria.
What? What happened?
She was not welcome anymore.
I see.
I believe she was dangerous to this house.
She was.
Fickle, vain. She does not understand the price or the privilege of our existence.
She had betrayed us and continued to betray us. I will not weep for her.
I had hoped that things could have changed. I asked such a simple thing, and all I could see was her walking through this house as if it was hers. But it is not hers. It is Bryn's, Wayland's, and yours. Or it could have been. The rumor is out. Miria, have you been speaking about this with people?
No, I've not.
Jorjane just raised it himself. Rumor of your
Jorjane knows?
parentage. Apparently so.
Shit. Well, I hope to be able to control that, but clearly that's not possible anymore.
And you made implications to the Queen.
Well, yes.
We're going to have to be careful, Miria.
Been careful my whole life, Lady Marcia.
We'll be more careful. Look at your bruises. You cannot reclaim Ironwood if you're in 3 pieces.
No, but I can by showing them what kind of leader I can be.
Cannot lead if no one will follow.
I'm working on it.
And Ellery.
I haven't told Ellery. I understand that if I want to pursue this, then I can't marry him.
When we announced your betrothal, I reached out to Lord Jourdain and I asked him if the Dornish were dissatisfied with the arrangement to make me a better offer. I was curious what their response would be, and if there was a better offer.
What was that response?
Well, he suggested the sword in the morning.
I don't think that will work somehow. Lady Dane told me to forget everything, to pretend that I hadn't learned the truth, to walk away. She asked me to consult the gods, ask for the Seven's guidance. But I've already felt their hand, I've seen their visions. I dreamt it, you know.
What have they shown you?
They showed me myself as a young girl with Oliver and my mother in a house together, happy in a simple life. And they showed me the Lords of the Reach stabbing him in turn, and Alistair fucking Oakheart driving his sword through him, while I was screaming and crying, doing anything I could to stop it. And then all I could do was be held in his arms as he died. And as he told me a few words. And then she opens the locket and gently pulls aside the Oliver portrait. These words.
You are not the only one who saw him die. I am the one who screamed and cried. I'm the one who could not get to him.
I think Miria reaches for her to like hug and cry a little bit.
And I think to start with, she's stiff almost, but the exhaustion lets that posture sag into her, and she tucks into the kind of crook of Miria's neck. And there's that silent sob shiver.
After a while, Miria says, I do love you as if you were my mother. I hope you know that.
I love you as well, Miria.
And no matter what may happen, Bryn is my brother. And I will fight, I will kill, I will do whatever I have to keep him safe. Make sure that he can grow to be the Lord I know he can be.
But now you cannot tell him. He will not understand.
I know, I'm not going to tell him.
And you cannot come back to me dead.
I promised you, I'm not going anywhere.
You told me that you chose Ellery. I think it is dangerous to tell him. Could be wiser to find some other excuse. Ask for more time. But he has been a good ally of us. I've watched him grow. We need to find a way to keep people from using excuses to fight. That house is an excuse to fight. That's why your heritage mattered in that bond. But I will not see you unhappily wed. That has always been our agreement. And this will always be your home. Until you decide to leave it.
The awful thing is, I don't think I would be unhappily wed with him. But I can't deny who I am. I can't. Not anymore.
I still have his things. That's where I found the locket. That's where I made things for your brothers. And my choice with your sister was maybe a mistake. But it is done. And I will pay for it, I am sure. We must protect this house. I have promised too many people. Cannot let it be lost.
Miria stands for a moment before she takes it like a very knightly knee in a way and places her hand over her heart. I swear to you, as your daughter, as Prince's sister, as Oliver's daughter, I will protect this house. I will protect you. I'll protect Bryn and Whalen until my last breath.
I promise you I will not lose anyone else or anything else from this place. For all the things that I have loved are here. We need to talk with the Queen. I have arranged an audience for later. And we shall have to consider the matter of Jourdain, Nellery, the rest. And tomorrow you have another part of the melee to fight in.
I do.
You will need to apply this to your bruises. Otherwise they will just need to hit you there and that will be it. And she'll kind of provide I imagine it's like a peppermint ointment. Something that will kind of give that Westerosi deep freeze effect.
Tiger balm.
Mm-hmm. Shadowcat balm. Patented.
Nice.
TM.
Patented. TM.
Very cool. All right. We are going to jump cut to woods at night. The moon scarcely glancing between the trees as it looks down on this scene. Mara, you are still limping, hurt, blood caked all over your clothing and down one side of your face that you can't feel but you're sure has changed. And behind you, you hear a very low growl. As you look behind you, you see that flash of green eyes reflected, a cat's in the moonlight. And as you limp forward quicker and further, it starts to catch up with you again. And it goes to bite and claw you. You duck behind a tree, you dart and weave and try and make your way. You're sure that you're moving slower and slower. It's like now wading through mud before this cat, as you look back, pounces on you. And you awake with a start. In the heat of the kind of lunchtime tent. And looking around you, you can see a page boy, an attendant for the Tarleys. And he's now kind of approaching you, coming to you with like a cold cloth.
I like to think that Mara has kind of like, she didn't mean to fall asleep. Like she's probably propped herself up on some pillows. She probably still hasn't really changed out of what she was wearing. She's still got it on. And at some point it's just from the exhaustion, you know, like when you just drop and you're asleep. And I think she panics for a minute. And she scrambles around the pillows, go off the bed, and then she sees this attendant coming to her, and it clicks where she is.
Yeah.
And she instinctively puts her hands to her stomach, where she still has that kind of leather bodice that she's been wearing that's fashioned like armor but isn't armor, and her fingers meet the deep scratches from Salistrai's claws. And the image of the cat flashes in her mind again. And she sees this poor attendant coming towards her, probably with like a damp washcloth or something, and just kind of doesn't really know what to say, just puts her hand out to kind of refuse it.
My lady, please sit back down.
I'm fine. I hardly think a bad dream is going to do any harm to me more than I've already been harmed. And I think by this point, like at some point between the conversation with Tali and laying down, she would have looked in the mirror. I like to imagine that her and Samuel have got a very large full-length mirror propped up against a tent post because they're horribly vain.
Yeah, if you haven't changed, then the dress and that bodice, as I say, is caked in blood down one side. It's such a strange view. I mean, I think we might kind of I think it's got the same energy as we might think of, like, a zombie extra backstage. You're kind of stood and you look like some kind of disgusting, kind of vaguely demonic.
I think she's had the skin cleaned up, like her face is mostly clean except for where the wounds are still weeping. But I also imagine it's kind of almost like a half and half, like she's got this left half that's just ruined, the dress is torn, the scratches, and then the other half where it's just muddied and not quite bloodied yet. And I think that's the first thing she does. She gets back up and looks in that mirror now that she's had a little bit of rest, and kind of shushes the poor page boy out of the way. And she's she's holding up the fabric where she had embroidery across the edges of like a bear's face, which is kind of what Samuel had taken for his nickname. And she's just staring at herself in this mirror, and not even really looking at her, just looking at the state that she's in.
I think your eyes would most certainly meet the heavy scarring now, and the disfiguration of the jaw and
these
neck,
puncture wounds in her cheek and jaw,
the heavy wounds, and the shape of your face has changed, and it's a stark difference as you remember your complexion before.
And I think she does that thing where she turns to the other side, and from that angle it kind of almost looks normal apart from the swelling, and then she turns back and she steps away from the mirror and she looks at the page boy. Where is the Lord Tarly?
He's just out in the other tent, my lady. He actually strides in at that point, just takes one step inside, closes the flap of the tent. I heard you from the other tent.
I think she looks at this page boy in that kind of way that nobles do when there's somebody in the room that shouldn't be, and just waits for him to leave.
Yeah, he just kind of sighed, like
sidesteps awkwardly
out of the tent's the flap of the tent. Glendon Tully stood in front of you, and he says, "It might be wise not to draw attention to yourself at the camp right now."
That is true. She doesn't know I'm alive.
Exactly.
Thank you. That dog. If you hadn't come along, I don't know what would have happened.
I was more worried for the trappers, if I'm honest. I don't know what they would have done to you. They probably thought you were some kind of abomination.
Probably. Still, it'll hopefully look somewhat less worse once the swelling goes down. Not much better, but...
Sorry, my lady, I didn't mean that. I just meant you haven't changed still.
No, I haven't.
You should, though you have plenty of belongings here.
I knew that by coming here, perhaps the manner in which I came here, my reputation might be in danger. Quite frankly, Alistair already ruined that. I knew things weren't good between Marzia and I, but I didn't think she'd try to kill me.
I'm not excusing her, my lady, but there must be some provocation. Or something underlying in her demeanor towards you?
I think she offers him to sit at this point because they're just both kind of standing there in the tent. And I think she props herself back down kind of on the bed. It's probably the only other place to sit in this room right now.
As you sit down, he actually stands, he says, here. And he actually tries to make you more comfy.
She'll let him. She likes. I like to imagine that, because she's stayed at Hornhill before. I like to think that, she's enjoyed his company and he's probably done the old man thing of telling her lots of weird stories from.
Yeah, a little bit. Like they know each other. Yeah.
Yeah. And she thanks him, and the only crime I ever committed was not knowing what Alistair had done when he done it and leaving with him. And then out of, I don't know, what love I had for him, fear, trying to protect him. And she resented that, and I understand it.
My lady, he was your husband. You did as your duty commanded.
He's nothing to me now. And she says that with so much venom, like just the idea of him being her husband. Like it physically, she has a physical reaction to this as she kind of tenses up. And then I lost my child. And then I thought my brother was dead too. No doubt you'll see him around here somewhere. He's also staying at the camp. I went back to Old Oak and I shut myself away. What else was I supposed to do? And then your son turned up to see how I was. I didn't know if the Oak Hearts would take me in after the trial. I didn't know if they would somehow hold me responsible. He had promised to allow me safe board at Hornhill with my child at the time. You've raised a good son.
Thank you.
He brought my brother back to me. Found him. Let me know he was alive.
And
honestly,
did Lord John give you safe board?
He did. But he was kind. But he was not family. And she kind of gives him that look of like, do you know what I mean?
He still looks at you fairly quizzically.
We are the products of the people that raise us. The way that you have raised your son has helped determine the man that he is now. It is hard to not see what Alistair did and what he became, and not look to the people that raised him to take some blame in that. And in truth, when I realized that I did not love him anymore, that I could not love him anymore after what he did, he took everything from me. My family, the people I care about, my reputation. It was his fault I lost my child.
How so, my lady?
Are you a pious man, Lord Tarley?
By the grace of the Seven.
You knew my father, yes?
I did.
And it is no secret, at least not anymore, that he also kept the old gods. We have a weirwood grove here at Fox Hollow.
Yes, in truth, I only learnt of that recently.
It was a family secret. I was raised with both, the old gods and the Seven. And in some strange way, perhaps, among the Greenmonts there is a kinship to the old gods. being one of the only Reacher houses that still has this connection. There were rumours once that Marzi was a witch. Sure, they must have graced the halls of Hornhill at some point.
Can't say I've heard it.
Perhaps news did not travel that far then, but
Perhaps there's the small folk that worry themselves with such things.
they have every right to worry, my lord. I am not a superstitious woman. I do not believe necessarily entirely in chance or fate or coincidence. But the night I lost my child, I dreamed of the Lady Marcia cutting my belly open with a knife. And right before she set that cat of hers on me, when I told her I'd known what she'd done, she admitted it. She had asked the gods to punish the Oakhearts, to wither the roots of their house. She controls that cat by means I cannot understand. I have never questioned it before. But when she set it on me, she sat down and it was like she was gone. This is not delirium or exhaustion or blood loss talking. She told me that she had sent a butcher after your house. I assume for the incident that happened back when the host was here. Some prisoner had his tongue cut out, I believe.
Yes, from the prisoners that Samwell captured.
Yes. She tried to label your son a killer. Now, don't get me wrong, my father was a killer, my brothers were killers. Every man in Westeros could be a killer. But she didn't mean the kind that kills in war. I know Samwell has made mistakes, and I know he regrets being involved with what Alistair did. And for that, I will forgive him. Without question. She didn't just kill me because she was angry about what Alistair had done for Oliver. She tried to kill me because I love your son. Because she thinks him dangerous. And my involvement with him dangerous.
Strikes me now that she might be the more dangerous of the two.
Me?
Between Samwell and her.
Your son is good with a sword. But that shadow cat is quicker than any man I've ever seen. And we are sitting in a field surrounded by her friends, by the crown, by her guards, at her tournament.
Which is why we should make our excuses and leave now.
And go where? Hornhill? You said you had a host. Where were you planning on going?
South.
Another skirmish?
We shall have to see. With so many lords here, it could be a good opportunity to move before they can.
I think just for a second she looks to the door, just to make sure that tent flap is closed and she can't see a shadow, kind of lurking along the base where the sunlight just creeps in.
Yeah, there's no shadow.
I've heard rumours when I was at Highgarden years ago that rebellion would be coming again. There is no part of me that wants to see more war in this land than there has to be. I'm not a fan of making enemies of people who could be allies. And I don't think your son is either. Do you still keep the same side as you did when you fought beside my father?
Times have changed.
And have you changed with them, Lord Tarley?
I would say so. There are a few more grey hairs on this head and around this chin. Anyway, the Black Dragon is no more.
I see. I do not like war. But I love your son. I crawled half dead from that God's Wood to try to keep him safe. He loves me, and I have no intention of leaving his side again. Wherever he goes, I will follow. Whatever he wants, I will do everything I can to make sure that he gets it. Will you allow me that? She's having this very veiled conversation, I think, with him about this now.
I'll have to be honest with you, my lady. It puts me in a very difficult position when it comes to my allies.
And who are your allies?
Your father-in-law, the good Lord John, particularly firm amongst them.
I can understand that.
Now, was it not for him, then we would not have the strength of a host to rely on. You understand my meaning?
He's providing you men.
No. Because an army doesn't march on men alone.
Gold. I'm not asking you to do anything now. I'm happy to wait. I am still married, of course. That is something else that will have to be sorted. But I have no intention of going back to Alistair or the Oakhearts. There would be no point. Even if I ever found it in my heart to love him again, even if I could bring myself to share a bed with him, I could never give him sons. It is far better for them. They find him somebody who will not see him through the stained glass that I do.
We'll have to discuss it.
I am loyal to your son and your house. I have loyalty to no one else.
And I am grateful But first,
You get out of here.
we must look after your safety.
And I think she moves forward and takes his hand in hers. I am so very grateful. And she gives him a look that just, it's that look of like, I can't put into words quite how grateful I am right now, but she's clasping his hands very, very tightly within her own.
So we had a few things there. So some incitement against Marcia. I think charm's not the perfect word for it, but basically like charm, trying to get him more on side, trying to build more of an alliance with him.
She's trying to push the point that she's asking these questions and being kind of direct about what his plans are, because she's not trying to make him accidentally reveal that. She's just kind of point blank asking and telling him, and maybe being a bit veiled more for outside ears than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wondered, in terms of an action or a role, what specific thing you wanted to land.
I think she's trying to convince him that she is somebody that he can trust, that Samwell can trust, and that is all in for them. She is not here with, this agenda isn't hers to raise her position. Her agenda is keeping Samwell safe and getting Samwell what he wants for the house. Like that's what she's pushing.
Sure. Okay. So roll for me a convince roll.
Cool. Where are they? I've forgotten how my character sheet works.
So somewhere along there'll be a persuasion button and there'll be a convince button underneath that.
Does this also count to test to strengthen a union? Because she's also pushing that. Maybe I'm not just your son's mistress. Because she's pushing that this all comes from that place, that she loves Samwell, and that's
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She gets.
What do you mean by softy, Tom? No, it's true. It's kind of right. She's kind of right.
Okay.
She got a nut up and tell him. No, just dancing around.
She's got to tell him.
She'll get there.
I can't even get to the wedding point to unlock this ability. So
23, 24. So that's 29 in total with 3 6s.
Okay.
That's disgusting, Virginia.
I know.
Keep covering while I write down his disposition and all that.
But yeah, this is what she's pressing upon him, and I think by the end of this conversation,
what do I write in your house box? Oakhart brackets Tarly / Greenmont. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think by the end of this conversation, she has got up off of the bed. And she's like, there's that standing to meet, as they know that they're now pushing of like, we need to move and go do stuff. And I think that by the end of this, she has opened up one of Samwell's trunks and she's pulled out one of his cloaks. She has no intention of changing out of the clothes that she's in, because she knows that there is a point to be made with this, and she wants Samwell to see what has happened to her. She doesn't want to try and soften that for him, because she knows how much he really wants to fight in this tournament and needs to make a point of like, maybe let's not die. But I think she reaches in and pulls out one of his cloaks, not one that's like obviously covered in like House Tarly filigree, but one of his, and also his sword, one of his sword belts, because she still has his rapier. And I think as she's like, after that kind of speech has ended, as they're starting to discuss whatever it is that they're going to do, she has to wrap this sword belt around her twice because it doesn't fit her, but she wears his rapier. And she uses the cloak with the hood to kind of cover the scarring on the side of her neck and the rapier that she carries. And kind of makes a point of, she's kind of wearing Tarly colours, but not quite. And she's just making a very big point of loyalty to him right now, and the fact that she's prepared to go get his son.
Okay. So the kind of more general movement around camp is that actually I think they will start packing up. You get the impression someone a couple of people have run off to the tourney grounds to try and get Samwell. But it's not Glendon's it's not Glendon's intent for you to leave camp or for you to go back to the grounds. His intent is to pack up and leave with you and with Samwell. He won't until he's got both of you. Are you trying to work against that in any way, or are you trying to do anything different, or are you going to go along with what they're doing?
I think she might suggest that if they begin to pack up, it would look suspicious if they just all get up and go, because again, Marcia doesn't know that she's dead, and she will press that. She will tell him Marcia is a healer, and I must have been dead at least for a moment for her to even think about leaving me where I was. And I think she suggests that perhaps they go and get Samwell and they leave, and the rest of the Tarly camp that is here packs up tomorrow as usual. So nobody knows that they've left, because they know that Glendon's Tarly's here because he's come through, but he hasn't been here the whole tournament. So people probably aren't expecting him to, be around everywhere if he's just showed up to talk to Sam. So I think she might try to suggest that perhaps, no, we go and get Sam, we make sure that job is done, and then we go, and everyone else follows afterwards.
So what's your thought here, V? Sneaky? Or Glendon is maybe conspicuous, he's kind of him, or are you going to go in and try and blend in with the crowd, or you're just going to go in and be like, I'm not dead, fuck you guys?
I think it's not necessarily being sneaky, because there's nothing that Mara could wear that would cover this scar. She can put a hood up, but then she's a hooded figure walking through a crowd. So I think that she just suggests that her and Glendon with a small guard retinue, which would be fairly normal if you're wandering around as Lord of the House, just goes down to the tents to go and get him. And she's got the hood up. If they're kind of flanked by guards, no one's going to kind of interrupt that to try and talk to her or ask her what happened.
Yeah.
It's that just kind of for once, the being nobility has its advantage there, in that you can put some people beside you and then no one can really talk to you, and just go get him. Because that is still less suspicious than packing up a tent. Because everyone knows she's with Samwell now. Everyone knows that Glendon Tarly's here now. Seeing the two of them together probably isn't a big deal. And they can be gone by the time news reaches Marcia, because that's got to play Chinese whispers that somebody's seen Mara. Before it gets back to her. But she thinks that packing up and just going is a bad idea. They have to go, and then the camp leaves after them.
You walk the muddy tracks from your remote location around the camp, around the edges, the southern edge of the camp, up towards the centre of the tourney grounds, where in the larger glades there, the Grand Melee has been marked out, and the stands stand proud, the hospitality tent as well. The dirt track that you walk is actually pretty much deserted. As you walk closer towards the centre of the large tourney camp, you begin to hear more cheers, laughter, talk, gossip. And as you begin to walk into more and more people, more and more of a crowd, people start to glance up at you.
She has her hood up, and I think to some degree she's almost turned in as she's talking to Glendon as they walk, because she won't go without him, and she won't go without guards. That's kind of her thing now. It's just I'm gonna stay here where it's safe and there are people with swords. And I think she just tries to play it off that she's kind of holding the hood up so it doesn't fall, because it's probably made of some really slippery material, knowing Samwell. It's probably silk or something. And she's just kind of covering that up and keeping her face kind of turned away, so that as people try to look in, they're trying to look past guards, and it makes it that bit harder to really see.
As I do this juicy fruity thing where I play something through in my head, and then suddenly I'm like, I can't do that. No, I will do that. So you don't see out of the periphery because of the cloak, but you hear the laughter of two young children as one of them, you feel this bump towards your hip, and in a little of your weakness and the wounds that you've suffered, it knocks you more than it normally would, and you're just a bit more unsteady on your feet, and it knocks, and you pull back, and the hood falls
I like to
back.
think she lets go to kind of grab onto Glendon to steady herself as he like reaches out for her, and because she's let go, like, you know, the hood falls back.
Yeah, and you look around you. A young boy is whisked past you, and then a girl is stood looking up at you. A little young, just 4 or 5, just looking up at you in like disbelief and kind of shock at your appearance.
And I think she has this moment where she doesn't quite stop walking, but she kind of slows as she looks at this girl and recognizes the look on her face. Shock, fear, uncertainty. And I think she just kind of, she turns her face slightly to the good side of her face as she pulls the hood up and just kind of smiles, and then tries to go back to talking to Glendon. She tries to just, she doesn't want to make this girl scream.
As you turn back to Glendon, you hear one of the guards yell, "Yo, boy!" And then, before you know it, you just glancing around, you get a sense that the young boy is now with the group, as is the young girl, grabbed by 2 of the guards, and the guards are looking to Sir Glendon to see what he wants to do.
And I think she notices this exchange, and she looks at him. They are children. Who is going to believe their whispers? Will be gone by the time it reaches anybody of importance.
Look at them again. Would they know you?
And she looks at the children. Do they look like small folk of Greenmont lands in terms of like, can she tell, or do they look more Dornish? Can she place kind of their features?
Yeah, I desperately want them to be like them to know you, but if they're like 5, I think they'd have been born around the time you were leaving, or you're not even at the house really. So they
she hasn't been at Fox Hollow either.
No, they have a look about them that is like they.
Wait,
they
she has been at Fox Hollow recently. She went down and partied the other night in the pub.
Yes, she did, Charlie. Yes, she did. Glendon asks you if they would know you, and I don't think you're sure.
I don't think if she can't place them.
No.
If she can't place that they are distinctly not Greenmont people in terms of like the way they're dressed would suggest that they've come from, you know, somewhere else in the Reach or from Dawn, she would tell him that she's not sure. Have them taken back to the camp if you must, but please don't have them harmed. They're children. They can't be older than what, 5, 6?
Glendon pulls a guard close to the 2 of you just so he can whisper. And he says, just warn them off. Teach them a lesson. But don't lay a hand on them. And the guard nods. And they... as they leave, you can hear the girl screaming for a mum or dad.
I think Mara gives Glendon a look of grateful thanks, but also a look that kind of says that, you know, yes, this is the man I thought you are. Like she has a lot of respect for this man, despite some of his ways that she doesn't necessarily agree with, because he is kind. And he's obviously raised Samuel well. And, you know, she spent time at Horn Hill. He's always been chill. So he apparently just didn't care that he figured out that there was something going on. So she'll go with it.
You kind of knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I mean, so you approach the tourney grounds now, and as you see off 100 yards or so in front of you, you can make out the tourney grounds themselves. The combatants, the contenders, are all standing up in a line with Samwell positioned there, and you can just see him off in the distance as you guys just hang back for just a moment before you make your move. We are going to cut back though to I want to fast forward it to that morning. I don't want to be too weirdly timey-wimey about it. And just do a little change, even though we said let's, for the Queen to, see you in her chambers that night. Let's move it along to the morning. Let's move it along to her pavilion tent, where she's set up camp, or she's had people set up camp for her around the Champion's Glade, near Makar's tent. And she has invited you, the both of you, I imagine. Well, Ash, if you don't want the both of them, Marzia and Miria, you don't have to.
I can have the both of them anytime, any place.
Oh, I got smutty again. I don't know. I don't like it.
Ash, don't write checks with your mouth that your ass can't catch. Telling you.
Okay. And yeah, the Queen has invited you in. I love doing this little house rule. I want you guys to give me a couple of things here for it. So, Ash, this is your pavilion tent, or this is Queen Mariah's pavilion tent. Thinking about the intrigue and what kind of bonus you would like, whether that might be to your composure defense, to your intrigue defense, to your composure, to a certain technique. What fact of the scene, what truth can we add here, so that what environmental quality is there here? It could be loads of guards, it could be, opulence, it could be what's going to influence this intrigue and give you a bonus to something.
I think obviously she'll have guards around the outside of her pavilion tent, but I don't think she would have any within, but she would have her own spear that obviously she hasn't wielded properly for a long time, but it's kind of just sat next to her, not in like a threatening way, but giving off that sense of who she is, her power level, and what she can do to sort of kind of influence them in a way to kind of do what she wants.
So you want a bonus to one of your techniques, yeah?
Yeah, so let's have a look at my character sheet.
Like intimidation, convince.
Probably convince, because she essentially wants them to do something for her.
Okay, all right. So that kind of antique, that power there for that prop, that object that's on display. Well, it will give you a +1 bonus dice to your convince rolls. And then Charlie, Susie, what environmental quality have you? I guess it's more of a personal quality. Maybe you've dressed a certain way. Maybe you brought certain things or people with you. What's an environmental quality you want to introduce, and what kind of bonus would you want to try and?
It's the morning of the next day, right? Which is the finale of the melee.
Yeah.
This is
before the final. Yeah.
Mary's
before
in her
what
armor.
just happened. Okay, nice one. Okay.
I actually want to suggest that Marzia doesn't show up for this meeting.
All right.
Marzia will have warned Miria that she is actually going to let Miria go and speak for herself, and is basically making Miria lady of the house in a way, or lady of her own destiny at least.
I am going to give you, Susie,
Mm-hmm.
the +2 bonus to status test results.
Oh,
Like in lieu of Marzia's quality. I think that's
And-
like you are here on your own of your own volition. Like you've got a little bit more status from somebody, basically.
I will have given her basically Marzia's personal part of the house guard.
Yeah.
But Marzia this morning will have spent time with her son, because she wants to go see Prince Maker and she wants to go see her son.
Oh, all right. We'll get to that after.
We can do that later, or we can hand wave it. But I want Miria to have this
we'll
meeting.
do a little scene. I like that, because I did want to get you with the the two sons thing.
I want to see my baby.
Yeah, you want to see your other kid, right? Yeah. And the armor. Oh, intrigue defense +1.
Intrigue defense, yeah, sure, let's do it.
It's like, I'm an armor. What are you gonna do? Switch to combat?
Well, it's like a thing too, right? It's a statement.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Okay, cool. So Maria comes in, and I think she makes the Greenmont retinue stand outside.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they kind of have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be a thing.
They are
Yes.
stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean, though? She before the guards tell them to stop, she's like, hold up, I'm going in on my own.
So you enter this pavilion tent, and there is an opulence about it. All the cutlery, crockery, that kind of thing, all very well crafted. There is a mix of like tapestries and banners that they've put up. They've made it as decorative and I guess homely for the Red Keep as it can be. I don't think you went to the Red Keep in downtime, did you? But
No, yes, I did. Yeah,
You
it was
did.
Summer Hall that I didn't go to.
right, okay. So it's very Red Keep evocative.
Mhm.
You might even maybe think you recognize one or two tapestries. They've brought a little of King's Landing with them so that Mariah doesn't feel, so homesick. Or maybe that's what a servant thinks. They've just that's what they've prepared for her. But you enter, and Mariah is sat on her own kind of travel throne, I guess. Yeah.
It's like one of those walking sticks that's a stool.
No. It's a bit better than that. It's got a back and everything. You notice it's very well cushioned. She is comfortable here. In stark contrast to a lord who might be standing or be doing a Tywin and skinning a deer or something. She's comfortable. She looks a little nested by people, I guess. But
She's not bad.
yeah, but she is going to go first because she is the queen, and it's her tent. So we don't need to roll initiative, but you guys can now just check your dispositions toward the other person, and then for yourselves, so you know your disposition rating when it comes in later, and then I want you to think of what you kind of want to say, what your objective might be, and then we can think of our first technique. So that's one of your specialties. I think that's for Miria, isn't it? That dice.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay,
familiar.
nice.
Nice one. Another little test dice. Oh yeah. Where was I? And yeah, so think of the first kind of exchange roleplay wise, and your first technique, and then ready whenever you are.
What's the chart of dispositions again?
Oh
It's
yeah.
affectionate, and then
So we have a slightly house ruled one.
because you got +1, +2, +0, whatever, don't you? You
Mhm.
don't do the.
We don't do the
complicated
modifiers.
stuff.
Yeah, we just do the disposition rating. So basically, if I can remember, you've got affectionate at the top, which is only DR1, so it only soak 1 damage to you later. You've got
Lincoln Zoom.
you got like friendly, which is DR2. You've got indifferent DR3. Like dislike DR4, and then malicious DR5.
Put the full cheat sheet up for you, Ash, so you can grab it if you want.
Ah, thanks, babe.
Welcome.
Yeah, we did a little cheat sheet, so it's all.
Yeah, thanks to
I
Sam.
forgot. I forgot about the cheat sheet.
No worries. Yeah, so those are our house rules, and we've got the intrigue crits there as well, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. Right. Okay. So I think when she walks in, she'll kind of raise a brow slightly at that there's only a single person who has entered her pavilion. But kind of quickly dismisses it and she kind of waves you over with her hand and gestures, kind of like a grandmother would, to a seat, and one of her attendants will pour you a glass, something light, something that would kind of boost your strength and your energy for the day ahead.
Is Miria a little hungover?
Tiny bit. Tiny bit.
With the hair of the dog. Sort you out.
Yeah. And she won't say anything to begin with. She'll kind of, you kind of feel that her eyes are keenly watching your every movement. And she watches you walk in, you sit down, how you settle yourself, how you present yourself. And it's like she's scanning you. And I will consider.
So Miria, upon entering this tent, has been wearing the black scale that Enzo had procured for her. And she has this like clunky helmet like that she had been wearing the other day underneath her arm with the full face one. And she bows deeply as she enters the tent. And when offered a seat, she takes it. But she like hands off the helmet to someone because there's no like little side table, right? This isn't like your granny's house. There's no table to just a sideboard to put your helmet on. So she kind of just looks for a servant and says, "Could you take this, please?"
Yeah,
And
they do so.
hands it off.
Yeah.
And then she takes a seat. But like beforehand, her hair had got all tousled and stuff in the battle, but it's like tightly braided to the back of her head now. She's in like super like this fighty gear that she's in. Your Grace, Lady Marzia sends her regrets that she wasn't able to attend you today, but has sent me in her stead.
Do you know what she wished to discuss?
Truth be told, I'm not 100% certain as to the finer details of what she wanted to discuss, though it was relating to myself and events that transpired while I was in Dawn, I believe.
I see. And what about these events in Dawn?
Well, they pertain to your brother.
Yes, I gathered that.
He has a hatred for me because of my father. And she lets that hang, like,
She'll look you dead in the eye. As if she's looking into your very soul. You can tell she's old, you can tell she's experienced. And she is searching the deepest parts of you.
All right. Well, if you're considering, I think Susie, if you want to roll like an action for me, for what
Yeah.
you're doing.
She's coming in. She's coming in friendly. She's charming.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. We're charming her.
Cool.
I'll use one of my my key piece.
Keep dice.
I got 'em.
Nice.
So 5, drop none. Nope. Wait. Nope. Nope. Cancel. Screwed that up.
Oh no.
Roll 6. Keep. No. Drop 1. Do I get a charm bonus? Do I get a charm bonus? Yeah, I do. +2 to charm. 15. My God, that's so many ones.
Yeah.
Miria.
Against your intrigue defense.
That is
Ash.
1 degree.
1 degree of
That is
success.
4.
4 composure damage minus your DR. Ash.
Awesome. Yep. Oh, no, not that.
Okay.
Okay.
So Ash, you've got a +2 bonus dice for your consider, and it's a new round. Think of the technique you want to go in with, any of the roleplay, and we will crack on to the new round.
A value which I hold is honesty. You be truthful with me now or you leave. Do you understand? I am not a
Understand.
person that you can dance around with. I am not a person that has the time to deal with childish behavior. Get to the point, tell me the truth, and maybe we can come to an agreement.
Oh, Maria tries not to throw up a little. But I think she tries her best to hold the queen's gaze, right? She's like, this is a strong woman. She'll respect this, I hope. And keeps her eye, as she says, very well then. I won't dance around it any longer. My father was Lord Oliver Ironwood. Upon discovery of this, your brother attempted to kill me and admitted he had several plans in place to kill my father. Turns out he didn't need to. The Reacher Lords did that for him.
And how was it that my brother, and she says that with such disdain in her voice and disgust, was able to find out such a well-kept secret?
Well, at the time, I did not know that it was the truth of my birth. It was a disguise we had used. When I was taken from Summerhall by my uncle, was retrieved from Vulture's Roost by Sir Oliver. Upon arrival at Ironwood, I was masquerading as his true-born daughter in an attempt to hide Miria Greenmont, who was no doubt wanted by the crown for her escape. It wasn't later until I discovered it was actually the truth.
And what is it you wish to accomplish with this knowledge that you have gained?
I wish to take what's mine. When we arrived at Ironwood, my father promised me that one day we would restore Ironwood to its former glory. We would be done with the corruption around us. I seek to make that a reality. I wish to remove Horatio Ironwood and take my seat.
You wish to revive a dying house, one that's corrupt to the core, demonic in nature. Yes?
I do.
That can't be all.
Well, truth be told, I have big ideas about eradicating corruption wherever I go, but we'll start small to begin with.
Is that your only personal want?
I'm not sure, but I know it's what I want right now. What I've wanted for some time. It's what I've trained for. It's what I've studied for. I've worked very hard for the past, God knows how long, to make myself into someone who can eradicate corruption in her lands, who can deliver justice for her people, who can ensure they are safe and protected.
Oh, let's roll some dice. It's so good. Oh. Right, Ash, what are you doing? What's the technique? What's the action? You don't have to just do damage.
I think I'm just at the moment influencing. I'm
Well, you got the 2 bonus dice. That will really
I
help
don't.
you out.
Yeah, I don't want to manipulate her. I'm not trying to convince her of anything yet. I'm trying to seek out like who she is and what she wants. And to do that, I need to destroy her. Love you, but I do.
All right. So you got those 2 bonus dice. There's 2 extra bonus dice.
How do I roll on this?
So you click on the word
Custom roll.
whatever you're doing. I think there's intimidate or something. Don't. Well, the custom roll in the bottom left is okay. The custom roll on the character sheet don't work.
Oh shit. Okay.
Just FYI.
I guess it's an intimidate.
Yeah. Just temporarily bump your intimidate bonus dice up by 2, and then click on the button, and then oh no, actually, sorry, you can add stuff to those rolls. So if you click on intimidate, and then you add the dice that you need to.
Bonus dice.
Yeah, it should be a little prompt should come up. Should be able to bump it in there and just click on adding bonus dice. I think.
Am I adding 4 or 2? Is it just the bonus dice I'm adding, or am I getting anything extra?
So the sheet will have added your normal bonus dice in anyway.
Yeah.
So you need to add 2 to that.
Okay.
Oh.
Keeps pressing submit. What's going on?
There's a couple of them there. Oh, because you had, I think you had the thing on before, didn't you?
I don't know.
Because you pressed custom roll before, so it's.
Oh, have I done the wrong one?
No, don't worry about it. So let me just have a look at this for you. So we've got intimidate. I'll add 2 bonus dice. We'll use this roll. No penalty dice. Bam, 15. Right.
15. There we go.
Yeah. So I reckon that second one was the correct thing to do. Alrighty, 15. Susie.
Versus my intrigue
intrigue
defense.
defense.
1 degree.
Degree of success.
That is 5.
Okay.
And Susie, your action.
I am reading the fuck out of Queenie. I just laid everything on the table, and I'm like, she's gonna kill me now.
Yeah. What's she gonna?
This is a retarget. So
yeah. So you're like, what's she gonna think of this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use one of my little friends up here.
So you got 4 friends, 2 are little and 2 are big.
Do you know, I'll use a little and a big. Right there we go.
Big one and a little one. It's like we're on countdown. All right. Hang on. There we go. So you're adding a keep die and a bonus dice.
Yeah. So I'm rolling
Nice.
6, dropping 1. Just checking to make sure I've not got anything for this because Mary is disgusting. I do not. 18.
So 18 against Ash, your passive deception, which is the little number next to the main stat.
That does not reach.
Oh!
You do not get a read on her at the moment. She's been a little Aggie through the roleplay. So what you get through the roleplay is what you get. And we're at the top of a new round. New techniques, new roleplay. Whenever you're ready, folks.
Can I quickly do a check, or
Yeah,
can
yeah.
you give me some knowledge, Sam, about kind of the Ironwoods and kind of how useful are they to her?
The Ironwoods used to, up until recently, be a very important house in Dawn. They're one of the founding Dornish houses. Ancient history puts them as petty kings in Northern Dawn for a good long while, rivaling the Martells until Nymeria came along with her fleet, married a Martell, stomped all over Dawn, took over. The Ironwoods were one of the main supporters of the rebellion against you. It was about 7 or 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And since then they have very much been in decline. It is not a secret, I would say. It was more kind of political public knowledge that Marin sailed a fleet over there a few years ago. And kind of laid siege to one of his own liege lords, but to help him because he was facing a rebellion of his own knights. So they quashed that rebellion, and like Horatio Ironwood, the current lord, kind of early middle age, he's known as a bit of a sycophant, he enjoys his life. He doesn't really do much politically. Not very present at court, at King's Landing, or at Sunspear, really, from vaguely what you know.
Okay.
Used to you? Probably not a lot.
Not right now.
They're probably quite useless right now, politically, for anyone really. Apart from Miria, who might take it over, we don't know yet.
Okay, that's cool. That's what I need.
Oh, and yes, thank you, Tom, in chat. So Horatio is married to one of your nieces. So one of Marin's kids.
That's fine. That's
fine.
not an issue.
This is fine. Okay.
This is fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Okay. She'll just pause for a moment and take a drink from her own glass. And then she'll lean forward slightly, just resting her arm. And she'll give you a soft smile. Thank you. It is rare to find an honest soul. But I always knew I can trust a woman's intuition over a man. So, you wish to take over Ironwood. What would you give me if I were to help you make that happen?
You would count me among your allies when I rebuild the house?
Yes, but that is years down the line.
Of course. I'm not quite sure what I could give you now, you and the Queen. Beyond myself.
How about you do something to prove your loyalty?
What would you have me do?
Well, you seem to have a disdain for a specific person.
I do. A few. Which one? If we're speaking honestly.
I have always held a deep hatred that my own blood took what was rightfully mine. Deal with it. And I will ensure that you rise to the position within Ironwood where you can quell the corruption within.
Miria meets her eyes, and there is a almost dark smile that tugs at the corner of her mouth as she says, Your Majesty, I believe I already have.
Oh, really?
When I was pulled from Ironwood, when your brother was firing upon it with his scorpions, when I was pulled from the sea after he had attempted to murder me, I was rescued by a man I thought to be of my house, but was revealed to me as a faceless man. He offered me the choice of a name, and I gave him one.
Yet I have not heard of my brother's demise.
I have not either. But I have been awaiting news. I've heard that these faceless men can take minutes, years to kill their prey. They work on their own timetables.
Well, while that is one road,
Hmm.
we can always prepare another.
How do you suppose I'm to do this, Your Majesty? Your brother hates me. He surely knows by this point that he failed in killing me.
What he doesn't know will be his downfall.
What doesn't
He
he
is
know?
an arrogant man, one who has been given everything to him on a silver platter, fed to him with a silver spoon. He has not worked like a woman has to in this world that is filled with inequality and she kind of stops herself and you can see she's getting herself a little bit worked up and she has to calm herself. I would much rather that he die by the hands of a woman to laugh and dance over his dead and rotting corpse.
Oh, sorry, I just fell a little bit romantically in love with Ash then. Whew. Maria, like, her face is kind of in between shock and awe at this woman just outright saying this.
You had the brain, you had the talent, and you are female. I can provide the stage. And you can get your revenge.
And I can count on your protection once it's revealed.
We'll ensure that someone else takes the fall.
Very well, then. You have found yourself an assassin, Your Grace.
Oh, I find assassination a strong word. I prefer permanent removal from life.
Well, then, if I may propose a toast.
You may.
To permanent removal from life.
Indeed. Just make sure you don't fail me. I have high expectations for a daughter of dawn.
And Maria smiles, but there's like a little bit of sadness in that smile.
Just make sure you do your father proud.
Oh, I will.
Now you must also win this tourney, so I can parade you like a peacock.
Excellent. Well, I shall. Is there anything else I can do for you, Your Grace?
Still your mind and your heart, sharpen your sword, and continue to step forward. For what you want is around the corner. Never lose sight of a woman's intuition and never falter.
She nods very solemnly. I think she downs her drink and then bows deeply and gets ready for the next fight.
And she kind of waves you off.
I feel like that was a very, very good mutual yield there, I think, in terms of the intrigue mechanics. That's very good. Cool. Wow. All right, then. So we're going to close tonight on Marcia stepping into Makar's tent and stood around some servants is with a slightly strange flop of hair. What looks like Bryn's twin. Like, as I say, they are the spit of each other. I think I narrated Wieland with a kind of more of a floppy do, slightly longer hair, that kind of thing. Charlie, is Bryn with you as well?
Yeah, she would have brought him with her.
Yeah. I imagine that Makar is there to begin with. And then says something probably quite cold and slightly cutting as he walks out.
Could I have the opportunity to say one thing to him to make one attempt at something?
Yeah, of course.
So as the children are playing and he makes his comment to leave,
kind of enjoy his company while you still can today. But you know, there's a tourney to win. He's gonna win it. He's in the final.
She's gonna turn to him and say, "I have done as you asked, Your Grace. I have been seeking out traitors. I found one, and I did what needed to be done. The Lady Mara should be no problem anymore. Your Grace, the Lady Maria will be in the melee today. And as we have agreed, champions are proven by their action, I would ask, Your Grace, that she has loaned a dragon's protection as you protect my children." And she'll look to the two boys. "As you protect the kingdoms."
The grace of the Seven will not allow me to do that. 7 champions will walk into that arena, and only 1 champion will remain standing. That champion today, Lady Marcia, shall be a dragon.
When you knock her down, do not break her.
I bear no ill will towards Lady Maria. But combat is not as clean-cut as all that.
I have seen Your Grace's prowess, control. I have faith, Your Grace.
He walks out of there, keeping his eyes on you as long as he can, as he slinks out of the tent flap. Leaves the boys to play. Bryn and Whelan are like, it's awkward because it's very early in terms of their actual meeting each other and potential friendship. And Bryn is as awkward as he actually has been. He's been surprisingly gregarious at this tournament. And as you listen and watch the boys talk a little of their, where they've been growing up, and Whelan kind of rings around Bryn in terms of what he's grown up with, and it's almost a bit of a little ego match for the two of them. And Whelan is kind of outdoing Bryn, and you can tell from Bryn's expression that it's kind of getting to him a little bit. And it is such a strange feeling to look upon a face that is so familiar, and yet it seem so alien because you don't know this boy really at all. What do you do in the tent with them?
I think as she sees Bryn becoming more aggravated by the situation, a situation he cannot possibly win, she'll interrupt and make a suggestion that they take Whelan to see the trees.
Yeah. You leave the tent. You are followed by Targaryen guards as you walk out into the woods. But there you can be with your two boys. And Whelan is quite inquisitive. You've visited Summerhall before,
Yep.
didn't you?
She even took Bryn with her for the trip to Summerhall, but they were both really young at that point. They were like 3, I think. So
yeah.
Marcia, I imagine, will kind of point out the trees that she knows, and any kind of stories she has that she thinks they might find interesting, but mostly she'll be like, why didn't you go and see if you can find an acorn, or that kind of a treasure hunt, scavenger hunt type scenario to keep them running around and not just annoying each other.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Is there anything you want to get out of the encounter with Whelan today? Do you want to try and say this? I want to say this lovingly, but like raise his disposition towards you? Do you want to kind of get him on side?
Yeah,
Do you
I
want
think
to
so. I
try
think
and
she
build more of a
wants,
bond with him?
I think her focus in a way is to build a bond between the two brothers, because she knows what it's like to be far away from your siblings.
Yeah.
So it's more like facilitating that. And within that, I think she'll get her own enjoyment out of spending time with both of her children.
Roll me persuasion charm.
Okay.
This is going to be difficulty 12. It's basically like a mollify from
17.
From intrigue. Nice. Oh, a couple of degrees. Okay. So yeah, I think you can tell that by the end, the boys are, from your guidance, working together, playing together, doing something as a team rather than trying to outdo one another.
I think when they're more comfortable together and kind of, the atmosphere is a little bit more relaxed, she'll call for Salistria, which is why she wanted to take them to see the trees, because she had the cat out here, and she'll very carefully bring Salistria into the situation so that Whelan can meet the cat.
I want you to roll animal handling charm for me.
Okay.
This is going to be difficulty 18. And this is to bring her in safely.
Can I use train?
Yeah.
All right, I do that. 15. Luck reroll.
Okay. You did used to forget that quite a lot, so well done. Yeah.
13, that's even worse.
Oh no. Okay.
She's scary. My cat is scary. She just tried to eat someone last night.
Do you know what?
Molly, you got a thingy on screen as well.
It's too late. I already rolled.
All right.
She does what you say.
Technically, she should do what I say, because she's my animal cohort.
She does exactly as you indicate. But maybe the way that you've set up the scene, or the kind of like body language that she kind of gives off, alerts the Targaryen guards around you, and they immediately try and like bring you back. My lady, like, move out of the way. There's a like dangerous cat out there, and they're moving forward with their swords. Couple of them drawn now, and Salistria is looking at the two of them like they're aggressive. This is a fight, Her tail goes.
Ears go flat back.
Yeah, her ears start to go back. She's ready. She's ready to go if needs be.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
Now. Clearly you haven't been paying attention. This is my cat, put your swords away. What's more, this is my land, put your swords away.
I need you to make me a status command from warfare, if you've got it, for specialty dice.
No, I don't.
Okay. I think this is a
Alright, so
12.
do I get my head of house bonus because it's a status
Yeah,
test?
+2. Yeah.
14 total. Wasn't
Uh,
a great roll.
what did I say? A 12. Yes, I said a 12. Okay. So they don't quite know what to do, and as they hesitate, Salastria just ears back up, starts to slowly, just kind of like casually, slowly walk towards you and walk towards the two of you. Bryn, I could imagine, if you'll let me, that Bryn has had. Salazar is just like a dog to him.
Yeah.
He's just like
Really fallen asleep on her.
Yeah, he's just like patting her, stroking her, just kind of stood right next to her, almost. You know how kids will just kind of almost like just nuzzle up with their body to somebody or to something. Like he's just kind of leant on her. Whereas Whelan is kind of like he's locked eyes with this cat. Salastria too, back at him, and he's just like absolutely intrigued.
She was there when you were born, you know. She helped. She tries to explain to Whelan, and she'll kind of crouch down, kind of into like a low squat next to him.
Mm.
And she'll ignore the guards who are confused and try and just keep her energy calm, because if she freaks out, then she knows the cat could freak out. So she needs to stay calm.
Mm.
See? She doesn't mean any harm. She's different from other shadow cats.
And Whelan looks up at you and says, "Why is that?"
Other shadow cats are very mean. Salastria, she goes on special journeys because she really loves our family. She will always find them. She will always protect them. She's been all the way across the desert to a place called Ironwood. She came all the way from the Red Mountains to Red Lake. Do you know where that is?
That's west, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a beautiful lake, and there's lots of these white birds on it. The birds are very mean, very cruel, and they're always watching. Don't you hate it when everyone's watching? And she looks at the guards and shoots them like a comically scowly kind of look.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think they get that cue. And Whelan's still quiet, and he's just like, you've captivated him, and Salastria as well.
Now, you should always be careful when you meet an animal for the first time, because you don't know, do you? Never know what they're going to do. But maybe if you introduce yourself nicely, maybe she'll sit down for you. What do you think?
I'm quite good with animals. Very good with the horses and the ponies.
I love horses. Do you have one?
I ride a pony.
What colour is your pony?
It lists a
breed
a pony, Corsa or
Targaryen
something.
white, duh.
Yeah, sure.
Silver, I'm sorry. Come for me.
Grey, something.
Yeah. Well, see her ears? They've got little bits of grey on them. If you look very closely, you can see she's stripy. And she's going to gently reach out and not draw attention to it, but she's going to try and take his hand.
Mm-hmm. He lets you, and as you put it towards Salastria, She starts with a low growl.
I think Marcia kind of tuts at her, like a click of her. Salistria, that's not how we say hello, is it? And she tries to smile at Waylon, and then she looks at her cat like, don't do this to me today. And she'll do like a little, like a down click.
Yeah. This is for me going to be animal handling charm.
Yeah.
This is trying to get her something to do something she's not interested.
And she'll turn to her and Bryn, tell Salistria to sit.
Yeah, he gives that like kid you're like yelling at a dog style, you know. Sit. Like he's been told to say it in a certain way. 15. Oh, hang on a second. Her will is a...
I can look it up if you want. I've got her sheet.
5? What's her passive?
Her passive will is 8.
Oh, okay.
Cats don't have high will. Marcia's do.
Fair. Okay, so you get her to sit, yeah?
Yeah. Imagine she does that sulky cat thing where the bum just drops and then she just flops a little.
Yeah. And she isn't looking anymore at Waylon or yourself. What she's doing is that kind of cat thing of, I don't really like what's happening. I'm going to kind of ignore it. Because if I look at it, that's actually affectionate. So I'm not going to look at it. I don't like this. I don't want this. So she's kind of looking over to one side as he gives her a stroke.
Salistria, this is Waylon. Waylon lives at Summer Hall with the prince. Waylon, give a bow.
He gives a bow, and then he says, as he kind of peers round and they lock eyes again, and he says, I hope I see you later. And that is where we all finish up tonight.
Ah! Screams in Targaryen.
Oh man, we're back! All the juicy fruits. Fruits of the loom. Juicy looms. No. Oh man. That was a whole thing.
What was the whole thing?
I'm back into it. It's good.
That whole first scene, I'm really sorry. I was like, I have no idea what's going on or what I'm doing anymore.
We're getting back into it. It's nice. I like slipping into Jourdain because he's just kind of funny and like,
yeah.
I'm gonna kind of take the piss a little bit. It's fun. That kind of thing. Yeah, but no, it's good. All right. I can't wait to have some other fellas back so that we can get into some of the more defining moments. But we had a few tonight for sure, and that Queen intrigue just blew me away. So yeah. Let's go around, have a chat with people, do little plugs, and say how you enjoyed tonight and what you're looking forward to, all that kind of stuff with the game and whatnot, all the usual stuff. I mean, Charlie, we finished up with you. I do enjoy like just finishing or just interceding stuff with little scenes like that. I love it. So little kind of family scenes. And it must be like, for her, it must be so weird, like seeing Waylon.
Yeah, she's only
Not
seen
really knowing
him,
him.
like, she had him for 3 months of his life. And then he was taken to Summer Hall, and then she didn't get to go to Summer Hall for like 2 years because there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's not seen a lot of her other son, and it's rough. It's like her family are at this tournament, and she has not had time to go and see them yet. Her 2 brothers are here. She hasn't seen her sister for a long time. The last time her parents were here, they tried to put her on a witch trial. I mean, family is complicated in Westeros.
There's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. And then I tried to kill their sister the other day. That was a thing that did happen. yeah, I really enjoyed today. There were so many like really cool moments, and when I knew the Queen and Maria scene was coming, I was like, I can't be there. This has to be Maria doing Maria's thing. I
cool.
think Maria and Marcia talked out what they needed to talk out, and it was time for Maria to be a woman, not a child. So away she went, and like kudos to Ashley, who is a badass, who we all adore in and out of character. I appreciated so much how much sass she was giving Marcia, because Marcia does push her luck. Marcia's not great at court things and people. And it's always good to be reminded of that, because she gets her way a little bit now, because of privilege, basically. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and kudos to Virginia for some real stirring. Come at me, I'm ready. I'm excited. Clash Kids. I'm actually going to be away for a few weeks from the game. I'm on like life break next week, and then the week after I might be back. I'm not sure. I can't remember what we decided, but yeah, there's a lot going on at Encounter. We're just getting ready for the brand new season to kick off in October. So I've got to do a ton of work to get that all ready. We've got some really exciting stuff, including a new Game of Thrones show, which Susie will be GMing. Super excited to see what Susie does, and of course
Nice.
it's set in the north, because where else, right? Where else could it be? The cast for that are insane in the best of ways. It's ridiculous just how deep dive, and it takes me back to when we started this in like April a million years ago. It's like 2 years ago, 1 year ago. How long ago was it? It was a long time ago, like a year and a half.
Yeah, year and a half.
And so for this show we did like 3 session zeros, and we were still like keeping going. So it's really cool to keep adding to this world and sharing it with more people and exploring things. So I'm super excited for that. Counting down, there's been costumes made, and honestly, this cast, that they're in it to win it. I'm so excited to unleash them and see what happens. And they've come up with another really cool house, and I was really blessed to get to do the close of the Crownlands chapter as well with the Tremaines, another amazing group of people. So I just love Game of Thrones roleplay, and I'm currently working on something with Dawn on LFM that I want to shout out. I think it airs, let me make sure I get this right, Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern. Yes. It's called Rise of Veiled Alliance: Journey to the Obsidian Spire. It's one of it's another sister campaign situation. There are 2 campaigns going on. And my character in that is very Game of Thrones. My character in that is if I did get to play Cersei Lannister, which is my dream. One day I will get to play another Game of Thrones character, and she will basically be Cersei Lannister. I don't want to say too much and spoil it, but she's not all that she seems, and she's playing to win. Her class is monk, but her role is a little bit unconventional, I suppose. But she's an artist and bookkeeper.
Nice.
So yeah, no, I love her. Dia is very cool. Please go and check that out on Mondays.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch, because I'm playing in Don's privately run Dark Sun game as well, where I play one of my favorite characters, Patcher the Thri-Kreen. I'm like Chewbacca. I've got a lot of Chewbacca energy of like not getting it at all, like no social
I
cues,
love the Tri-Keens
just ripping
so
apart
much.
stuff, eating it. It's great.
I mean, Dia's best friend in that is one of the rat folk, one of the Taris, whatever they're called.
Oh, the Tari.
Yeah, I love like non-humanoidy type origins.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, cool.
Anyway, that's me.
Yeah, I look forward to it. And Susie, oh, so many defining moments tonight.
Oh, it was a big night for Maria. I'm not gonna lie though, that conversation between Maria and Marcia, I almost legit cried. I was like really on the edge of crying.
Yeah,
It was like
I felt it. Yeah.
But yeah, shit. I figured, sometimes Maria has been a fan of pushing that big red stupid button and turning to the queen and saying, your brother's a fucking dickhead and I want to kill him, is perhaps one of the biggest, reddest, stupid buttons you could press. But slam that shit. Turns out she's cool with it. So I got permission to do a treason. I'm very happy about it. Catch me later doing a treason. This is done. That's it now. This is like an attack dog that's been let off the leash. Maria is just going to be like... And then we'll get there and we'll figure out whether or not it actually is him or if it is a man. Who knows? But yeah. Oh, I'm so glad to be back. Anyway, so I'm Susie, otherwise known as Susanna Grace. I'm a variety streamer. I do all sorts of shit. You can catch me all over the internet at Susanna Grace. At the minute on my own stream, I am mostly doing Wild RP, which is role-playing set in Red Dead Redemption. I play Abigail Dufresne, a French school teacher, she's wonderful, innocent, never done a thing wrong in her life, and just saved her best friend from a serial killer. Charlie has thoughts about this. Anyway, other than that, you can find me when I pop up on Encounter, which will be next season on for the Game of Thrones game, and here.
Nice. Thanks so much. V, thank you so much for being patient with us tonight. We had big plans, and then the boys unfortunately weren't too well. So
yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate that a lot of what Mara does is obviously tied in with Samuel, because they're the terrible duo that shouldn't be allowed to just do anything together. But no, this was fun, and I'm kind of glad, because one of Mara's kind of big goals has been to try and get Papatali on side more. Because she had no idea how he was going to react to this. So I don't know, it's been a good night of watching everybody kind of lay very important cards on the table, and kind of speaking their truth, for I think all of our characters, which is kind of cool, especially for, the female characters in the show, who often, women in Westeros are told to be quiet and not and be sneaky and behind the scenes, and all of us are just like, see this thing that I definitely shouldn't tell you. Well,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Mara just basically coming out with, so I want to marry your son. This is kind of already an intention. I'm just checking in. So that's been fun. I don't know if Papatali was lying or not, but Mara wants to trust him right now and kind of has to. So she's not questioning it. I'm sure she'll figure it out if he is. Yeah, and hopefully she knows what's going on, because I am notoriously bad for understanding Westerosi politics. So while I feel like Mara is competent enough to try to put the pieces together of perhaps where Tarly stands, Virginia is bad at it.
You could always ask me about politics, because I'm just kind of making it up. But I'm also kind of playing a kind of Crusader Kings game in my head with all of these houses. It's a bit odd.
I just can't wait to find out what his plan is, because I don't think he's a loyalist. I don't think he's like, yeah, let's, we're all for the dragon. But he's clearly not on Blackfyre's side anymore. At least so far. I'm intrigued. I don't want him to go to War Dawn, but that's future Mara problems when they leave the tourney grounds.
I would say nothing more.
But yeah, I'm Virginia. I play Mara here, this wonderful, terrible human that she is. You can find me tomorrow with Susie for Frackin' Friday, where the two of us are going to continue to do our rank placements in what I have now dubbed Operation Anything But Copper.
Are you in Copper yet?
No. We've won 1 out of 3 placement matches. We've got another 7 to do. We've been beating bronzes though, so that's good. Like our matches have been against bronzes. They haven't placed us against coppers yet. So.
Okay.
My excuse is last week they got me talking about mythology, and I told them all about the Minotaur and
you don't want to look at the quotes list in my stream. For the things that Susie was coming out with, all I'm going to say is lettuce.
I'll have to tune in to find out, won't I?
Yeah, just hop into my chat and just click exclamation mark quote over and over again. Eventually you'll see some of the terrible things Susie came out with. And then you can also find me some Mondays doing follower voted streams. I've been doing a lot of solo RPG stuff. And Tuesdays is the new day for Witcher at the moment, where I make Geralt make questionable life decisions about things. But I'm still true to Yennefer. There you go, Susie. I know where it's at, despite my chat trying to sway me. But that's what I do. I also make games with Sam as part of my day job. That's also a thing. So
nice one. Thanks so much. And Ash, thanks again for guesting. That was awesome. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Although I'm pretty tired. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll skip over you.
I'm a nobody on the internet. Plug these other guys. They do the cool stuff. I don't.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll have to plot after and figure out Susie's demise. I mean, success.
I mean, it depends whether she succeeds or fails.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Don't fail me.
I won't, Ash. I won't.
I'll get a debrief at some point soon. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We play this here game every Thursday, 8 p.m. UK time, which is normally around 3 p.m. Eastern. Every Thursday. Soon, I hope to have a spy game stream up and running as we head into our release. If you want to check out more information about that, you can head to blackcatsgaming.com or follow us around the internet at followblackcats or blackcatsgaming.com on some other social media platforms. I also make games for Modifius, head of product over there, as Virginia said, and we've got loads of stuff on the go, from Star Trek Adventures to war games like The Elder Scrolls Call to Arms and Fallout Wasteland Warfare. I am currently editing for a little Fallout role-playing game. That's going to be very cool. I'm very, very excited about that coming out, and more preview and pre-ordery stuff coming out for that at some point in the future that I'm sure I've said too much already. Edit fast. Shut up, James. Thank you so much for joining us. There's no Star Trek Klingon game tonight, is there, on ERP? So I think we'll just head on out for tonight. But please join us again next week for more of the Juicy Fruits, friends. For now, see you later and enjoy the rest of your week. Farewell.